Hey YouTube. Today I decided it was best to just get this topic out of the way right from the get-go with my channel and talk about what it means to be an atheist witch. I've seen just a handful of videos on YouTube in the last many years that I've been watching pagan type videos. There's not that many. I think that there are a ton of people who identify as witches who are also atheist. I just think they happen to not make YouTube videos. This is kind of hard to find. It's hard to find people on the same level as me with my belief system in real life too. I have a couple friends that are Wiccan. And I have other friends that just consider themselves pagan, a few that consider themselves witches, but most of those people are not also atheist. Now, first, I want to clear up what the word atheist means. All it means is atheist, as an anti-theist. A theist is someone who believes in a god, or gods, or goddess, or goddesses, a higher power, if you will. A being that is a higher power. The simple definition of an atheist is someone who does not have belief in a god of any sort. I don't. I was raised Christian. I was a Christian up until I was late 20s, and I have been atheist for about I think 3 years now. That whole subject of how my evolutionary spiritual growth can be a separate video, because I don't want it to get this one to get too long-winded. I'm sure I'm going to ramble anyway. I wanted to really hit the topic of you can be an atheist and still be a witch and still consider yourself pagan. That's kind of the trouble with labels. They're useful. They're very useful. It's how we identify with other people. It's how we understand where they're coming from. They make sense when I use them, but it can get confusing if you identify with many different things that are assigned to labels. So I identify as an atheist. I identify as a witch, and I identify as a pagan, and also a pantheist. I happen to be an atheist and a pantheist. One is a theist, and one is the opposite of being a theist. It's very hard to explain. If you've never heard of pantheism and have no clue what that is, I'm terrible at explaining things like that. I could sit here and explain quantum physics to you. It's not going to happen. So Google that if you're interested in figuring out what that is. But it basically just means that the entire universe is God, that there's no being outside of the universe who is a higher power. It is all encompassing. Richard Dawkins, who is if you're not familiar, is a very famous atheist who has written many books and does lectures and speeches. He's very famous, and I adore him. But he has referred to pantheism as sexed up atheism, and he's not really poking fun of it and saying that. I mean, it's a good way of describing it. Even though it is a form of theism, you still can consider yourself. I consider myself an atheist because I do not believe in a physical entity that is a higher power. I don't typically use any deity whatsoever in my workings. I will occasionally work with a specific goddess. The ones I tend to work with are either Isis or Hecate and Diana. The reason behind that, though, is I don't personally believe that they actually physically exist, nor do I believe that that there is just, one higher power being and those are manifestations of it. I am an atheist. What I use is the personification of those specific deities and find that part of myself that they would represent. So if I'm going through a situation that requires me to be really fierce and strong, a warrior, a huntress, you know, someone just who is strong and brave and is going to go out there and do what needs to be done, you know, I will work with and focus on the energy of the goddess Diana. It's just my personal way of doing things, and it's kind of hard to fit in because you don't really have a spot to fit in. Most atheists, I have a couple friends who are stark atheists who think I am absolutely insane. They're still friends with me, but they're just like, I think you're kind of just working through something and it's almost more like a hobby than anything. Okay, fine, you know. I also have a couple friends who identify as atheists who do believe in a lot of the metaphysical type things. Just because someone doesn't believe in a god does not mean they don't believe in anything. I think that there's so much untapped things in the universe that we just don't understand. You know, and I really do believe in energy working. I do. There are many atheists out there who will tell me I am a complete nut job. But I don't care, you know, what anybody thinks. I really don't. I'm at that point in my life where I just don't. So I feel like that this topic will probably come up more in greater detail, in greater length and greater detail on specific things. I'm sure eventually, based on how I decide to title this video, will determine how much viewage it gets. I'll probably get a lot of questions because, like I said, there's not a lot of videos out there. I know that there's the old one from a few years ago from, what is her YouTube name? A Broom in the Moon. I know she talked about being a spiritual atheist. I'm not sure if she identifies as a witch necessarily anymore, though. And I've only come across a few others. I can't think of channel names right now, but I know it's not something that's really out there. You have your soft polytheists and your hard polytheists, and that's usually where the kind of line is drawn in paganism. But there's a whole other group of us out there who take a very large portion of paganism, the nature worship, the connectedness and the oneness with nature and with the universe as a whole. I mean, that is paganism to me. And there's many other aspects, you know, of paganism that I incorporate into my life. I follow the Wheel of the Year. I have 2 young children, and I teach them about it. I think it's crucial to be connected to this planet that we live on, and I think that is a big deal this day and age. Since you know, 2015, as I'm recording this, and you know, here we are with video cameras and YouTube and all those things. And I have nothing against technology. I let my children use technology. They have iPads and they enjoy it and they learn things from it, and you know, but I think that you can't get too disconnected. I think that as a society as a whole, we have become way too disconnected from nature, and that's where I find great importance in paganism. It's a way to not only just, you know, acknowledge and mentally connect with nature, it allows me to emotionally and spiritually make that connection. So that is why I consider myself pagan, because I fall into that part of it. And I find all the different deities and pantheons just fascinating. I study them. I think it's really interesting, and I think that there's a lot that can be done with it without actually believing in the physical being of it. So yeah, I think that that's kind of it in a nutshell. Like I said, I'll get deeper into these into these topics and kind of break it down and be like really a lot more specific. Like I'll talk about what magic is to me, why I do it, why I think it works. I can talk about, you know, and the list is endless, and I like to talk. And I have a lot to say. So that's why I made this channel, because I think that there is probably a lot more people out there like me. Atheist witches, raise your hand. Where are you? And yeah, I just kind of want to get it out there, see if anybody else kind of follows the same sort of crazy eclectic path that you just don't fit in. You have one side saying, you know, you can't be both. You have another side saying you're crazy. Yeah, my friends understand. They understand me. They get me. The ones who are Wiccan, you know, they get it. The atheist friends I have who do believe, I hate using the word believe. It just sounds so Santa Claus-ish. Santa Claus-ish? You know what I mean? I have a friend who's very much an atheist, but, you know, goes for Reiki sessions all the time. You have other atheists who are just like, that is absolutely illogical. It is woo. I hate that word. And I don't think so. I'm not ever gonna discredit something that I haven't put tremendous amounts of thought, research, energy into understanding. And that's what I have done over the years of my adulthood with my, you know, religious beliefs, spirituality. It's been a long road for me to get to where I am, and say that I can attach, you know, all these different labels to myself with witch, atheist, pagan, pantheist, you know, yes, I'm all those things. I am all those things. It is absolutely possible, and I'll get into details down the road in future videos. But I do want this channel to be kind of fun. I'm not sure how much instructional stuff I can offer, but I'll try. I'm learning a lot about herbs at the moment. I know quite a bit about essential oils, that kind of thing. So I'll offer up things like that. And like I said in my last video, I'll probably do a lot of like hauls and reviews, that kind of thing. And then I'll just get into topics like this. So that's it for today. If you're watching this and you have, I guess, questions, you can put them in the comments. I'm open to asking questions as long as no one's going to be rude. I'll say it right now, if you're going to be rude, I'm just going to delete your comment. I'm not about hauling negativity into my life, but if you have honest questions, feel free to ask. If you are someone who gets it, who has a similar perspective on things than I do, please comment. Tell me who you are. Tell me you're out there. Yeah, so I think that's it for today. So, till next time. Bye.